pre-record for Tampa Home Talk. Our guest today is Meredith.
Hi.
She's with Land O'Lakes Winery, and she brought us some wine. How awesome is that? This is Key West Key Lime wine. I can hardly wait to try it.
And then this one's the Merlot.
And Merlot. That's actually their logo right there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go check it out. Admittedly, so I have not been in there yet.
I love it.
So we're going to learn more about it, and we're going to be pre-recording here in a few minutes for the show. Stick around.
You have a winery?
Mm-hmm. Land O'Lakes Wine.
How cool is that?
Very cool. We make our own wine, and you can make it too.
Yes.
Did you see that movie about those California wine growers in the 70s who...
Bottle shop.
Yeah.
We just showed it in the winery, actually. We have a movie night in the winery.
I just saw it.
Here, maybe
I didn't get
this
to
phone's
see the whole
good
thing.
for-
I was making popcorn for
I thought you were going to say you were making wine.
Too cool.
Just slide over by you.
Do you want me to move?
Yeah, that'd be great.
But great movie, I thought. Very good. Well, you should see the whole thing.
I want to see
Probably
the
got
whole thing,
saw most of it or just all of it.
I just saw the beginning.
Oh, yeah, you
Seven
got to see the whole thing. It's fantastic.
Sideways.
Another wine one?
We ready?
Sideways, yeah. I think that actually it's coming up in August.
Good. I like that one.
Nobody move. Because that'll fall down. Everybody moves.
We're ready. Ready?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Don't mind the music. Okay.
That's what's airing now.
Yeah. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. And if you've never joined us today for the show, the mission of our show is to help you keep and maintain great credit, live within your means, and build wealth. And my team and I are absolutely passionate about that. We love to talk about anything in and around the real estate space and anything that can make your everyday life better. And so I think today's show fits into make your everyday life better. And it's also a community spotlight for our very own Land O'Lakes Winery. And we have Meredith. Meredith, she's here with us today. She's the marketing director for Land O'Lakes Winery. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Same here. Had some technical follies here getting started. And we're actually pre-recording, so if you're on Facebook watching the stream, you are watching the show live, and we'll be airing that later this week on Thursday and Saturday at 5 p.m. So don't forget to check out the stations, AM 1340, 1350, 1400. And then if you are catching us from the Clearwater area, you can pick up FM at 106.1. Or if you're in Dade City, Zephyr Hills area, 104.3. Is that right, Lee?
That's right.
All right. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the winery, because you guys haven't been open that long, right?
Not a little over a year.
Oh my gosh. I knew she was going to tell me a year. I live in the neighborhood. I drive right past and it's been open a year already. All right. So let's talk about it. You guys opened a year ago. What's the whole purpose about the winery, and tell me more about what it is.
Well, we offer all the fun of a wine bar. We make our wines right in our winery, and you can enjoy them by the flight, by the glass, by the bottle. We have great local live musicians that come in and do entertainment, but what makes us really unique is the wine making. So not only do we make our own wine, but we invite the community to come into our community room and make their wine as well.
Okay, so you can either go there and just do wine tasting, whether you like the craft beer has been a thing, so are the wineries. You can go in and actually try different local wines that are made right there in
We
the
make
facility?
the wines that you see. We make a great selection of whites, reds, and sweets, and they're all made right there in Land O'Lakes. And then we offer the opportunity for our guests to also make craft wine.
So how does that work? Like, you have the opportunity to make wine, and tell me more about that. How does that work? Like, specifically, how does it work? 'Cause,
Sure,
isn't it a process to make wine?
It is a process. It's craft winemaking, so it's small batches. Our wines have less sulfites than commercially bought wines. That's appealing to some people.
Which I want to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Not to interrupt you, but just
No,
to pause
go
you, because people like me like wine, but we also get migraines, and the sulfites trigger migraines, correct?
Yes. There's
They
some,
can?
There's some correlation. Studies haven't definitely found it, but there is correlation, and if that's what people feel, then that's what's important. So our wines have less sulfites. Sulfite is it's a natural process in fermentation, so will always be some, but ours have about a fifth of commercial wines.
How does some have less versus another? Do you know that?
It depends. I think a lot of it depends on the amount of wine being made, and the sulfites are an antibacterial, and they help they're a process of fermentation, but they're also help protect the wine when it's being made, help it. So some manufacturers use more than others, and the more wine you're making at any given time, the likelihood there's a lot more sulfites in that wine. So
Is that because they don't want it to spoil, or okay?
That's exactly right.
I got it. So if someone were to come in and make the wine, I know you said it's a smaller amount, they get a kit.
They do it. They get a kit.
What all is in that kit?
The kit includes the grapes, which come from all over the world, and a lot of times, sometimes grapes and other fruits, or raisins and skins and oak. It depends on the flavor profiles of your wine and what type of wine you're making. And it's a 3-step process. The first one is to come in and pick out, sample some wines, pick out your favorite, and then start it. That takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and then 14 days later you come back and you stabilize the wine. You stop the fermentation process, and then it gets transferred. During this whole process, our wine production staff monitors it for you to make sure that it's all safe and everything's going well. But we actually have our guests make their own wine. And then the final step is the fun step. That's when you come in and you get to bottle your wine. Each kit makes between 28 to 30 bottles of wine. So it's a nice gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's a nice gift for the holidays. It's a nice, affordable way to make something personal that you can give to your friends or your family, or as a business gift.
So 28 to 30 bottles is how many it makes. Okay. So do people ever leave it longer than 2 weeks for the fermentation process, or no?
There's some flexibility there, but our wine production staff, Krista and Chris, are very good about. They'll call and they'll remind you. When you first come in, we'll set up appointments for you, so it's scheduled, so you can kind of plan on it.
How does it change the wine if you wait longer than 2 weeks?
It isn't going to change it a lot, because we're not going to let it go that long. If you can't come in, we have some customers that are from another part of the state that come to make wine, and in that case, we can help you out. Our wine, Chris or Krista can do that step for you.
So you guys would bottle it for them and ship it to them?
We don't. No, we don't. You have to bottle your own wine, but
Okay.
we'll help you with the steps in between. So, but you do need to come bottle. Bottling is a lot of times when people make it a party. It's a lot of fun. You bring your friends in. You get to try a little sample, although the wine is what we call green. It's not ready to drink yet. The sweets are ready. The reds and the whites take a little more time.
So what happens after you bottle it? You said they're not ready when you're bottling it?
The reds and the whites take some time to what we call ripen, to get a little. Some people like to drink them when they're green, but the flavors will change as they age. So, like, for example, for reds, we recommend 6 months on the reds.
So after you make it, waiting for 6 months. To get
After
that.
you bottle it, we recommend 6 months.
Yeah, right. After you bottle it, because there's a 2 week
There's some
process
time in there.
between.
Yeah, there's some time in there.
So, and do you recommend storing them at different temperatures, whether it's white or red, or like how do you recommend people store it?
It should be stored. Yes, you should.
Isn't it supposed to be sideways, cold?
Sideways is to help protect the cork from drying out. That's the reason for sideways instead of being upright. And some people, recommend that you rotate your bottles for the corks. Our wine, what I found is that typically it doesn't last that long. The wine doesn't last long enough for the corks to dry out. But yes, you don't want to keep your wine in the heat. Please don't keep it in the car.
Right.
You do want to keep your wine at a temperature that's a little cooler than room temperature. It should be right in that range.
Yeah. So how long after you make it? I know you said it can take like 6 months to ripen. How long is it good for? Like, what's the shelf life on these?
Several years. It'll last for several years. So after that first step, then you come back 2 weeks later, and then you come back 4 to 6 weeks later to bottle. And then you take your bottles home.
Wow. Okay, so you guys have been open for a little bit over a year. Tell me about the people that started it. Because are you a part owner, or do you just marketing?
No,
okay.
I'm the director of marketing. Actually, the vision and the creativity was from our owners. That's Sue Hardy and Corey Kempton. And also their entrepreneurial determination. Because as far as we know, we're the first of There's nothing like
I don't know anything
There's
like
no
that.
combination like what we do. There's some awesome wine bars. There's some great, facilities that make wine, but we're the only combination that really encourages our guests to come in and be part of it. We call it the community room. That's where all your wine is fermenting.
So what was their idea behind making something like this that's so different? Like, what was their vision when they started?
I think that Sue enjoys wine and likes wine, and she had done it before, and she just thought it would be a great combination to put the two together, and they have both been residents of Lutz and Land O'Lakes for a long time, so they wanted to bring it to Central Pasco.
So do they grow any of their own grapes, or I know you said they get them from all over the world?
No,
Is there any in the future any idea to start the vineyard or no?
Not at this point. We love Florida. We love it here, but the climate and the soil conditions aren't very conducive for really good grapes.
So different.
But there are some other grapefruit wines out there. But right now, we just want to do the winemaking in the wine bar.
So when they first started, their core vision was to have the community involved in the winemaking process, so that maybe they could enjoy it as much as they did. Is that kind of what their thought is?
Yes.
I love it. Well, it's about that time. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive a little bit more into the vision. We'll dive a little bit more into the process, and we'll talk just more about the whole process of making wine. We'll tell you where to find them, how to find them, and roughly how much it will cost. We'll be back in a minute.
So, where do the grapes come from?
All over the world. So
you bring the grapes in.
we bring the grapes in the kit. So, for example, we have grapes from Italy and Germany and Chile.
Interesting. This movie was so great because, these California wineries were really struggling in like the early '70s, mid '70s.
Yeah, it's a true story too.
Yeah.
And it's an actual.
They do once a month movies. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
I'm going to move your mic a little bit if you don't mind. Just maybe a little like that.
Okay.
I want to get you more direct
Yeah, you can slide her
into it
over
if possible.
anyway. Here, just slide her a little more.
Oh.
We'll get cozy.
Okay.
In a little
Okay.
studio.
How cozy do you want me to like? How about there? Is that
Thank you.
He's like, I can put it in your lap. Am I okay when the mic's sideways? Is it okay here? Should be, right?
It's okay. I mean, I like to get it direct, but find a happy
Okay.
medium that works for you.
All right.
You know,
I just want to look at her while I'm talking.
Yeah, you being comfortable is the important thing.
Oh, that mic is like right in your face. Gosh.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. There we go. That's a little better, maybe.
Yeah, but we want to get it close too.
Here, scoot over, scoot over. There you go. Oh, there's that better. There we go.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
Yeah. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Thanks so much for sticking with us through the break. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, and in studio today we have Meredith. She is the marketing director of Land O'Lakes Winery. And what a great first part of the show we had. We were talking a little bit about the process and what goes into it. We're going to recap on what it's like in Land O'Lakes Winery because it's a little bit different. It's not just a wine tasting bar. It's not your average wine place.
That's true.
Highly encourage you to check it out. We were talking a little bit about the owners, Sue and Corey, their vision behind what they wanted to create with Land O'Lakes Winery. Do they feel like they've accomplished it a year into the process?
I think so. I think it took us a while for our wines to be ready. That happened recently. That just happened in June, where our wines were ready to bring down and serve to the public. So all the wines that you see in our winery, the reds, the whites, the sweets, they're all made right locally in Land O'Lakes. So I think I do think that they are enjoying watching it come to fruition. You know, winemaking's a science, it's an art, and it's a lot of fun.
A love, a passion, a little bit of everything, right?
And it's a lot of fun.
We were talking also in the earlier segment and on the break how the wines the grapes come from all over the world because Florida obviously is not known for its soil and temperature to grow the perfect grape.
That's correct.
When you're choosing what type of wine that you want to make, are you also choosing like what region the grapes are from?
You're choosing the kit based on, usually it's based on we give you samples and you choose the one that you like the best, and that's usually typically the one people want to make. In some cases they'll make a wine for a special occasion. For example, the sweets are real popular to make as gifts for weddings
Holidays.
or for holidays. But in most cases people are choosing what appeals to them to then give to their friends and family and,
Okay.
and associates.
So as of right now, and we do sometimes air our shows later, but it's July.
Mm-hmm.
So really someone could, theoretically, they could make the wine now and have it ready for the holidays, like really ready for the holidays. to drink.
Absolutely. This is the best time. In fact, we're running a special. Our guests can get holiday labels, their choice of holiday labels, which are usually $25, and those are free if you come in and start your kit in the month of July.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay,
So-
okay. We're gonna have to do that. So the labels, is that custom as well? Like if they want to make something different?
It can be.
they do that?
Each kit includes the bottles, the corks, the caps, the cell caps, and standard labels. But in many cases, our guests want to make their own labels. So we will help you customize. We will print them for you and work with you to make a custom label. And that's $25 if you want to do that.
I love that. So tell me a little bit about how much it costs. Like, are they all different prices? Are they the same price? Like, how much does it cost to come in and make
No,
your
the
wine?
kits are different price depending on what's in them. For example, the blends, our Super Tuscan, our Winemaker's Trio, our White Trio, those are blends with several different types of grapes. So those tend to run a little bit higher. The sweets are a little bit less. So kits start out at $6.50 a bottle for those 28 to 30 bottles and go up from there.
So what's the range? $6.50 a bottle, and
Up
like,
to
what's the most
under
expensive?
10.
Under 10. Okay.
A little over 9.
Which what an amazing gift and an experience and just fun for
It
your
is.
clients. Like it just sounds like it would be amazing. I can't wait to do it. Like I wanted to check it out, and now I'm like even more intrigued by the process, and I want to come check it out. So let's talk about where you guys are located, because you're right there on 41.
We are. We're at 3901 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. We're right in the center of Pasco County. Easy to get to, straight up 41. We're just south of Lake Patience Road.
So Lake Patience, and you're south of Bell Lake, right?
South of Bell Lake.
And north of 54, roughly.
And about a couple miles north of 54 on the west side of the road.
Okay. So can someone come in for tastings? Like if they just want to taste the wine, can
Absolutely.
they do that?
Absolutely. Flights are a great way to do that, or they can just ask for a taste. We'll let anybody's welcome to taste our wines.
Great.
We want people to try them and let us know what they think.
And the flights, are they similar to like the craft beer flights where you get just a little bit of each?
Yeah, you get 3 on a board, and you get to choose. You can pick any of our wines off the menu to be in your flight. Flights are $10. You get 3 wines. They're a great way to sample to see, what you'd like.
What a nice date night.
It is.
Like,
We
that's
have a lot-
great.
It's kind of fun. We get to see a lot of first dates. A lot of people coming in to, try out the wines and check it out.
So how long have Sue and Corey been making wine before they started Land O'Lakes Winery?
Sue's been making wine for years. So, like I said, she developed the idea and the vision and the process. So she's been making wine over the course of time for years, and just felt like it was something unique to bring to Pasco County.
Definitely. And we're growing so rapidly that it's really just a nice addition to the area, I think. I really, really love it. So do they have you think there's any winemaking experiences like to share? Like tell me about some of your, like who's your customer? The people that come in, like who's the average customer?
The best part of what we do, we have an excellent team of people, but the most fun thing for us is to watch people through the process. Because they start out kind of unsure, like, oh, I don't know, we're going to give it a shot, and by the time we get to bottling, they are truly enjoying themselves. They're walking around sometimes they walk around the winery and give samples to strangers,
Other people
they don't even know.
Nice.
Because they're very proud of what they've done. So we've had people make wine for weddings,
Yeah.
for special occasions. We've had businesses come in and make wine to celebrate a landmark anniversary. We have team building, so we've had businesses come in and do the winemaking as a team building experience. which is kind of fun. And then they get the wine. Then they take the wine, they make the wine, and then they have the bottles to then give out as well.
It's funny that you say that because I was just talking to my team about how I have so much on my plate. We want to do something that's not work related, like once a month.
Come make wine.
And I told them, I said, I'm going to put the responsibility on you guys. Like it's going to rotate, and you guys are going to pick the venue of what we do. How awesome is that? I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it.
It is a lot of fun.
Lisa's like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So, can someone bring their own grapes for winemaking if they wanted to?
Not at this point, no. And part of that is because we want to make sure it is a science, and we want to make sure that everything is safe. And so there's a lot of attention to detail in our winemaking production. So at this point, we want to stick with the kids because we know what's in them, and we know that we can keep them fermenting the way they're supposed to.
Gotcha.
Stabilizing the way they're supposed to.
So, like, how do you know that the grapes are actually ready for harvest? I know you guys get them all over the world, but how do you know, like, as a winemaker, when the grape is ready?
We rely on the people that create our kits. And they do this all over the world, and they've been doing it for years. Craft winemaking isn't really new. It's been around for a long time. So Sue and Corey researched different winemaking kit companies, and they take care of monitoring the grapes and making sure that they're picked at the right time, and making sure that they're sealed and sent to us.
Gotcha. So, and I was like pulling some different things, so I don't even know what some of these terms are, but do you know what's punching down in the wine industry? Do you know what that is?
I believe it refers to part of the fermentation process.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To probably stopping the fermentation process.
And I know you said that you get grapes from all over, but like what regions? Like, is there anything local in Florida or no?
No.
Everything's from somewhere else?
Yeah. For example, our Riesling, the grapes come from Germany, from that area in Germany. Our Amarone, which is a great Italian wine, those grapes come from Italy. That wine actually takes a year to be ready. So that's the only wine in our repertoire that isn't ready to drink.
What is that called again?
Amarone.
And what does that taste like?
It's a very full-bodied, real flavorful red with a lot of different nuances in it. It's very, very good, but it's not ready yet.
We can
sell it to you. You can't drink it yet.
I'm getting so excited about the process. So you sell that kit too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We sell all the wines that we have kits for, and we also can bring in other kits.
Love it. So you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We're doing a local spotlight today on a neighborhood winery. So Land O'Lakes Winery. Meredith is our guest today. She's the marketing director for them. We have to take a real quick break. When we come back afterward, we're going to talk a little bit more about what you'll find when you walk into Land O'Lakes Winery and just a little bit about the experience. We'll be back in a minute.
I posted that picture I showed you earlier of the inside, and I told them to come in to do this month to get the free holiday wheels.
Did you guys want to offer any specials for our listeners? Because usually, like, our guests will offer something.
Oh, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do
They'll offer like a coupon or a percentage off or something like that.
look at that. Thank you, Lisa. Mm-hmm.
That's so neat.
It is neat. The first time I had one, it was with my dad and his girlfriend, and she brought a spread of cheeses and grapes and crackers, and then we brought our stuff, and this is the inside of it.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys had live music playing, and
We have
got up there
excellent.
and danced, and
Yeah, we have excellent
dance
musicians.
and-
We're very and they're local as well.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit about that, like as we get it, because we have 2 more segments.
Okay.
So I was hoping we could talk a little bit more about the wine stuff and then dive into that, like the experience.
Okay.
the
and
food.
the events, because they do have a lot of events that they do.
All right. Ready, obviously. Okay. You look preoccupied. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. In studio today, we have Meredith. She's the marketing director for Land O'Lakes Winery. And what a fun show this has been.
Thank you. It's been fun for me, too.
I encourage you, if you've missed any part of the show and you're just catching us like talk radio, right? A lot of people get in and out of the car. Catch the whole show in its entirety because we talked about some really cool stuff in the earlier part of the show, like about the winemaking process. You get to make your own wine. It's not only a wine tasting bar, but there's so much there. If you hop on over to Tampa Home Talk or search any podcast player, we'll post that up as soon as it's available, and you can just download the podcast and listen to the whole thing in its entirety. So let's talk a little bit about the experience. So when someone comes into Land O'Lakes Winery, what can they expect? Because we talked about, like, I would imagine some of the customers are locals, right? Walking in.
Many are locals.
Like,
and
at least now.
Mm-hmm. Many are locals, which we greatly appreciate. We have a lot of returning customers we're grateful for, but we also are drawing people from all over the Tampa Bay area.
But it takes a while to do that. You guys have been open for a year, so I imagine the first year a lot of it's been local people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It has been local people.
So what happens when you go in? Like, what can they expect?
Well, when you walk in, we are a no smoking environment, and that is to protect our wines from the air. So
And the people.
And the people. So we are a no smoking environment. We're an adults only, 21 and up environment. Okay. So when you walk in, you will see our wines all around the room, around the top part of the room. We have a welcoming, comfortable environment. We have different types of seating. You can sit at a high top or a table or on
couches.
We have all kinds of different types of seating. We have a nice bar area. And then in the back of the room is where our community room is. So you will see all the wines in different stages of being made.
Community room is where people are either getting ready to make it or it's in the process of fermenting in that time they come back 2 weeks later.
Yes, yes.
And I love it. So, and I know that, so do you guys serve food there, or are they allowed to bring food?
We do not serve food. We have a signature cheese spread that we have for people, and we have some light snacks. But people we invite them to bring in food if they'd like.
So they could bring their own crackers and cheese or whatever.
Absolutely. They can bring in food from a local restaurant if they want. We just ask that they don't bring in any beverages or coolers or that kind of thing. Because we do have, aside from the wine, we also have local craft beers and soda and water.
Oh, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in, they make the wine. It sits for at least a couple weeks during the fermentation process. They come back in 2 weeks, and that's the time period that they actually bottle the wine.
Not yet.
Not yet.
They stabilize the wine, so they stop the fermentation process, and then 4 to 6 weeks later, they come back and bottle.
Oh, see, I missed a step. Okay, so it's a 3-part process. They come in, they make it, they stop it fermenting 2 weeks later, and then they come back to bottle it a month or so later. Mm-hmm. And then when is the wine actually ready to drink?
The sweets are ready right away. So we have 5 sweets: cranberry craze, we have a green apple Riesling, we have the key lime, we have a peach Chardonnay. And our most popular is an orange sangria, and those are ready right away.
Wow, well, that's pretty right on time for Florida. Orange sangria. That's that sounds native almost, really. Mm-hmm. And then you have different music people that come in and play. Like, what kind of music is there?
We have great. I'm completely biased, but we have great local musicians that come in. Patty does an excellent job. Patty, our manager, does an excellent job of bringing in a really good variety of musicians. Typically, it's more of an acoustic or a 1 to 2 member band, because that's what's conducive to our acoustics and our environment. Yeah. But we have local entertainment every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Okay. So what type of music is it? Is it like a variety? Is it any?
It's a variety. We have one gentleman that does kind of an energetic kind of, everybody get up and let's get moving kind of, and get dancing. We have a lot of people that do covers from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We have several people that do really good original music. We've had bluegrass. We've had jazz. We have one gentleman that comes in and plays saxophone and does some light jazz. Nice. So a whole variety of different styles.
So is there, and you guys do different events, do you have like a mailer where someone can get on your newsletter to find out what's coming up, who the musicians are, if there's any special events?
Yeah, absolutely. They can do that through our website, which is landolakeswinery.com, or on our Facebook page. You can get on our list to get our newsletter both ways. And we have great special events. We do line dancing.
Do you really?
We do line dancing
That's
on
funny.
Monday nights. We have an instructor that comes in, and it's a lot of fun. It's good exercise, a lot of fun.
Oh, I love to dance. You don't have to tell me.
And it's very affordable. We had last night we had wine glass painting. We do that once a month, where we have an instructor come in, and you can buy. It's $20 for the glass and your supplies, and you can paint wine glasses. We do a movie night once a month. It's a wine themed movie. We provide the popcorn and the movie and the surround sound, and you just come in and enjoy.
Is that typically a Friday or a Saturday?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Okay.
It's the third Wednesday of the month usually.
So what was the last movie that you played that was wine-based?
It was Bottle Shock.
Bottle Shock. What's Bottle Shock about?
Bottle
I missed the movie.
Bottle
right?
Shock. I haven't seen the whole thing. I have to be honest. Full disclosure, I've not seen the whole movie.
Did you
but
see it, Lee? I think
did.
you're saying you did.
I did.
So what's the movie about?
The movie's
Bottle
about
Shock.
it's about this winery in California in the early to mid '70s. They're really struggling, but they're really men of the soil who are really interested in producing good wine. And what this guy from Europe comes through California. He hears that California has good wines that rival France's wines, and the French are thinking, no way. This guy's British, so he comes over here, samples a bunch of wines, takes them back to France, holds a contest, and I won't give you a spoiler, but that was the beginning of
Like
where
Napa, Sonoma.
yeah, where people started saying these California wines really are good.
And what was the name of the movie?
Bottle Shock.
Bottle Shock. Okay. Awesome. So do you have your movies kind of planned out in advance? So you know what you have, or is it just surprise a little bit?
It's a bit of a surprise. We'll put it out in our newsletter the week before. We'll put it up on Facebook the week before.
Gotcha. So is there any charge for the events?
No.
So the movies are free.
With the exception of the wine glass painting, you're paying for the glass and
Right.
the supplies, and line dancing is very affordable. That's $5 to line dance for a couple hours.
Wow.
So but other than that, no, there's no cover. We don't charge a cover. We like for people to come in and relax and enjoy.
So what are the hours that you do line dancing on Mondays, the hours you would do the movies, like?
Well, our regular hours, we're open 1 to 10, Monday through Saturday, and from 11 to 4 on Sunday. So line dancing is Monday evenings, with the exception of wine glass painting, which is the last Monday of every month. So it's from 7 to 9. Movie night is also 7 to 9, and that's the third Wednesday of the month. We also have a really, really popular and really good open mic night. That's the first Thursday of every month, and that's from 7 to 10.
So your open mic, is that singing? Is it comedy? Is it lip syncing? Is it whatever?
Yes. It's all
Whatever
it's all of
they
the
want
above. But we have seen some amazing musicians come to open mic night.
So you mix that with a little bit of wine, you never know what you're going to get.
So they come in and sign up, and everybody who signs up gets to. We'll stay open as long as we need to, so that everybody gets to perform.
So most of your events are no charge or very minimal.
Correct.
And basically the idea is to sell wine, to make wine, to get people in to experience your location.
Come and have some fun.
And again, I know we talked about this in the earlier segment, but how much can someone expect to pay for wine?
Our wines range about $8 a glass.
Okay.
For our wines, some are a little more than that. Bottles are about $28.50.
Okay.
And you can buy them by the bottle if that's what you choose to do, which is a little bit more affordable way to do that. So.
Or you can certainly come make your own, which we talked about as well. Very affordable, fun process. Not everybody can say they made wine.
That's correct.
And if it's great, that's awesome. But the likelihood of you making the same, like let's say someone bought some and they gave it out for a gift, the likelihood of them making the exact same tasting wine the next year is slim to none, right? Because the grapes are going to be different, everything's going to be different.
That's correct. Yeah, profiles change a little bit. It depending on how discriminating your taste is, it will taste very similar. But it is true, like other things, there's no exact same.
So what's one of the coolest experiences you guys have had there with your customers? Like one of the neatest stories that you've seen or heard or...
There's been so many. That's part of what makes what we do so much fun. Our customers, our guests, our customers are what kind of give us lots of energy and make it so much more fun. We helped a woman celebrate her 80th birthday with bottling wine. She actually, put the corks in and did all that on her own. That was a lot of fun. Last week we helped a mom and her daughter make wine for her wedding, the daughter's wedding.
Nice. That is a nice.
And that was a cool picture too. We try to take photos of our guests and spread them out there so they can share their experiences with other people.
I love that. You know, if my grandpa was still around, I would totally bring him to do the wine because it just sounds like so much fun. And you mentioned that you have companies that come to and make wine, either as team building or with customers or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. In many cases, they'll maybe order a bottle or two, and they'll make sort of an experience out of it, a day out of it. So we'll reserve space for them, which you can do. You can call us, and we'll reserve a table or. You can book our facility for parties, and then we do.
Is that the community room?
This is just the actual winery, the wine bar.
Okay.
But we do encourage you to make appointments for to wine making, just so that we can schedule it. We can get most people in within 10 to 15 minutes if they're willing to sit, maybe have a glass of wine and relax. Walk-ins are welcome. But with the team building, we often do a combination of a party and a wine class and a winemaking experience.
Love it.
So they get all of it.
So what is the cost like to lease your facilities?
It starts at around $150 for the whole facility, but in many cases people want just a section of the room to maybe have a shower or some kind of party or a birthday celebration, and in that case they just need to call in Esper Patty and she'll work with them on setting that up.
I love it.
A lot of times we'll just reserve space.
So give us your hours one more time and your phone number so people can reach you.
Okay. We are open Monday through Saturday, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., and on Sundays from 11 to 4. And our phone number is 813-995-9463. So that's 813-995-WINE.
Oh, nice. Okay. Again, 813-995-WINE, which is 9463. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell, here today with Meredith of Land O'Lakes Winery. We're doing a community spotlight. It's about that time we have to take a break for our last segment of the show. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll wrap up and talk about a few more things with regard, and we're going to recap with the rest of the show. Back in a minute.
What's the limo out front for?
It's not there anymore. It belonged to Corey, and he sold it.
Oh, what did you guys
do? But it was out front to get attention, and it worked.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I didn't know if you guys did parties in the limo or something. No, it was just an attention getter.
He and Sue both have other businesses, and that was one of them. He had that limo, so he parked it to get it worked. People paid lots of attention to it.
Yeah.
What's their other businesses?
There are numerous businesses.
Oh, really?
So I think they have rental properties, and Corey has a auto shop, and they have several other businesses.
I love the entrepreneurial spirit. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it's cool that they've all stayed local. Luke's Land O'Lakes is most of their stuff is. So
that's great.
Pretty awesome.
So I just want to make sure we don't miss anything we wanted to talk about. We covered a lot of stuff already. So one of the things I didn't talk about, is if they've won any awards yet for the wine. Do they come from winemaking families?
We haven't entered any contests.
Okay.
So
we'll just answer it that way. That's fine.
We haven't entered any.
Just some general stuff. And then I'll talk about who your owners and managers are, too. I think that part's important. Is it Klecker? Is that how you say your last name? Okay. Awesome.
Now, what if somebody wanted to do an event, but it was something that it wasn't 21 or older? Like if they wanted to have a Sweet 16
It's a private event, it doesn't matter.
Party.
Rent it out, right?
We stick to the adults
You do?
only.
Okay.
We do. The reason we do is because we want everybody to kind of relax and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We love kids, but we just don't have an environment that
Yeah.
supports them. For example, we have tried having kids. We're off, right? We're not on.
Yeah, no.
We had a couple little ones go in and pull the elbow off of the joint and sink in the bathrooms and flood the winery.
Oh, no.
We had one get sick. We had kids skateboarding in the parking lot. And
Oh,
US
gosh.
41 is
Yeah.
a US roadway. So we love them. We just don't have an environment that
Sure.
supports them. We had someone come in with a stroller and a 3-week-old about a week ago. But the winemaking process in the beginning, when you make your wine, you put it in a bucket and you hammer it like closed, and it's a very loud, jarring. We just don't have and when they're mobile, when children are mobile, they're a lot of fun, but we just don't have enough stimulation for them at that point. So we do stick to the adults adults only. If it were a private party where they rented out the facility, we would take a look at that.
Yeah.
And we've made some, for example, every once in a while we'll have an open mic. We'll have a musician that wants to come in and play that isn't quite of age yet.
Mm-hmm.
We will work with our customers.
But it has to make sense.
Yeah. But overall, we try to stick with the adults only.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so last segment's 8 minutes.
You could go 9 because the second segment turned out to be 9.
Okay.
So we got 10, 9, 12, and 9.
Okay.
If you want.
Just stick to 8 because, I mean, if I need to re-air it over at Beasley or anything, I want the segments to be as close as possible.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It would just be too choppy. They'd have to edit it too much. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, they really have to stick to that within that.
Yeah, it's a hard trick clock. Like it's the clockwork. Like
all right.
if you're talking and you get cut off.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I know that.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll just finish with the segment with 8 minutes.
Okay, you got it. Are you ready? Ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. What a pleasure it has been to have the Land O'Lakes Winery on the show today. I didn't introduce who your people were. We talked like very briefly on who's who, but Meredith Klecker, she is the Director of Marketing, and the honor we have of her just to share the experience of what you expect. I mean, really, like, this show makes me want to come in. Like, I'm totally going to schedule a date night now.
Good.
With hubby and come check it out.
Come check it out. We'd love that.
You also have Krista Robart. She is the wine production manager. Mm-hmm. And what does she do?
She schedules all of both our wines, the wines that we're making for the winery, so that she makes sure that we have available all of our wines at all times. And she also helps supervise the community room, the wine production for any of our customers or guests.
Make sure everyone's wine stays right on time, that nobody goes long, no one's wine gets ruined, all that kind of stuff. And then Patty Chandler, she's your wine bar manager. Mm-hmm. And what's her role?
Patty schedules all the awesome entertainment that we have, and she also is the person you would contact if you wanted to come in and reserve a table or have a party or have a special event.
Awesome. And then Corey Kempton, he was born and raised right in the Land O'Lakes area. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of us that are from the area locally, and still lives in the area, I presume.
Mm-hmm. Corey Kempton and Sue Hardy are our owners.
And she's been a Land O'Lakes resident for 15 years. Where's she from originally? Do you know?
I don't know.
Don't know. We'll have to ask her that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to come in. You'll have to come in and ask her that.
Yes, definitely. So, now, has your wine won any awards yet? Because we're pretty new, right?
We are pretty new. We actually haven't entered any contests yet. So,
is that something you think is in the future?
Maybe, possibly.
Okay. And do either of them come from winemaking families?
I do not know.
Or is this
either.
like a love
all
that
these
they've
questions
developed?
You have to come in and ask.
I know. Or maybe we'll have them on the show the next time.
That would be great too.
What drew them to winemaking?
Sue has enjoyed the experience over time, and she likes the fact that it's a science, it's an art, but mostly it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to relax and get together with people that you may know or may not know real well and just have a nice time.
Now, what is everybody most proud of at this stage in the game? 1 year into it, the winery's been open.
I think our wines. I think we're most proud of our wines.
Considering you guys make wine, score.
It took nearly a year to get enough wines ready to be able to have for all of our customers. So
it was a year or more in the making, I'm sure, just to set up.
We had wine in the meantime. We had boutique wines that we were serving, but they weren't made by Land O'Lakes Winery. Now the wines are made by our staff.
Well, I tell you, my husband and I, we had a trip. I go to California anyway, like 4 times a year for business. So we spent a little extra time, and we got to go through Napa, which was only a half a day, not enough by far. But I tell you, some of the wines that were just made, like literally they weren't even bottled yet, right out of the barrel, very good. Mm-hmm. Very, very good wine. What were some of the challenges that you guys had along the way?
I think the usual challenges with, we purchased a building right along US 41 or Land O'Lakes Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And I was familiar with the building before it became the winery, and they totally renovated it.
What was there before? I don't even remember.
It was a printer.
Okay.
It was a printer.
That's right, yes.
There was a printer before us. And before that, there's some discussion about if it was Smitty's chicken from years ago, but we're not really sure if it was or not. So, but it has been on Land O'Lakes Boulevard for years and years and years and years. So there's the same challenges with permitting and getting a business up running and renovating and all of those things. And they
Stayed the schedule.
Stayed the schedule and did all of that and got open and I think people will be pleasantly surprised when they walk in.
Nice. So what are the trends? Like what kind of wines are you seeing people make more than another? Seen any wine trends?
People tend to start out with the sweets and then tend to expand from there. So our reds are very popular. Our Super Tuscan is very popular. That's a blend.
What's Super Tuscan?
Super Tuscan is a blend of 3 different reds. And it's one of our most popular wines.
Love
right
it.
now,
Is it sweet? Is it dry? What can you expect?
It's not sweet, but it has a really nice finish. So it doesn't have that. It doesn't have a dry finish. It's kind of an off dry.
So are they doing any like education with the wine tasting? Because I noticed, like for example, when we were in Napa, they had this one wine that had won this super barbecue award. So he's like, here, try the wine. And then he brought out this little spoon with some barbecue sauce. He's like, now have the barbecue sauce and try the wine. And it totally changed the flavor of the wine.
Mm-hmm. We are actually looking into having a wine school that would involve similar to tastings to that, and also include the 3 steps of our winemaking in one class, so that our guests could come in, have a glass of wine, get to keep the glass, and go home with a bottle, and then get all of that also in the experience. We're working on that right now.
I love it. So what are some upcoming things you guys have besides that? Like what else can we look forward to?
We do outside events as well. One of the things I do is outside events. So we're going to be at Hernando Untapped coming up in October. We are helping a local business, Copperstone Executive Suites, is having a Salute to Small Business. We're going to help serve wine at that. That's this Thursday evening.
Nice.
I'm actually looking for venues and festivals and places for adults where I can take samples of wine and show people what we do.
We'll have to see what we can do to definitely get some of those connections going for you guys. Fabulous, fabulous experience. If you missed the earlier part of the show, just to give you an idea, some of the stuff you missed, we were talking about not only is it wine tasting when you come in, but it's this whole experience of how to make wine. The ambiance is totally different. Live musicians, events, winemaking movies. Like there's so many things to do. And people like me that live in Land O'Lakes love the fact that there's something local you don't have to go real far to do, and it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to drive into Tampa. We love Tampa, but you don't have to drive into Tampa. You can come out and have a really nice evening right in Land O'Lakes.
Love it. And again, you guys are north of 54, just what, a mile or two?
A couple miles north of 54 and just south of Lake Patience on the west side of the road.
On 41, so you're before the ABC Pizza, if you're familiar with that. It's been there for a long time. And your typical hours are 1 to 10?
1 to 10 Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays we're open 11 to 4.
I love it. And it's quite an experience. We've had so much fun talking to you guys, and you have a special for our listeners?
We do. We'd like to offer any listeners, if you just mention
Tampa Home
Talk, we'd like to offer you $2 off your next glass of wine. Just mention it when you come in.
Love it. Any specials for the winemaking?
Come in and talk to Krista.
Okay.
Right now, if you come in before the end of July, you will get your choice of holiday labels, and I think we have 18 different ones to choose from at no additional charge.
So just mention Tampa Home Talk and we're going to hook you up.
That's right.
Thanks so much for joining us today on our Community Spotlight. It's been great to have you.
Thank you so much. It's truly my pleasure. I've enjoyed it.
Meredith, it was awesome. I would love to have your whole group at some point just to get their experience. Definitely going to be there to check it out sooner rather than later. Thank you, Lisa, for always organizing a great show and just doing a great job. Lee, back there on the board, thank you. And you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. So much for this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week. And remember, love where you live or we'll fix it. Welcome home.
All right. Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you. That's fun.
It was great. It's going to air really nicely too. You'll hear it when it's editing.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Thank you very much.
So are you usually in the winery or no?
My job is to be out, so I'm in the winery.
So you're not allowed.
I'm not. No, well, thing. I was a
I'm just playing.
customer. I was a customer before.
You
I
were?
was. Oh yeah. I'm on my 6th wine kit.
I mean, sometimes
I'm
customers.
making wine kits that we don't even sell in the. I mean, I'm making. When I mentioned that we'll bring it in, I'm now making wine kits that